Hello and welcome. This is your GM in the Great Barrier, and we are back for part 2 of episode 9 of Broken Sword, The Life and Death of Traven Lex. For those that had joined us last time, we're going to catch you up with a recap here. But before that, this is the first game of the month for us here, so we're going to go ahead and just cover at least one shout out here. Joe, if you would like to mention anything.
Yeah, I'm Joe, host of Overland Gamer, the podcast. Our last episode that we had was on Star Trek Missions from WizKids. It's a fun little card game that fans of Star Trek will definitely enjoy picking up. I also wanted to do a shout out for a podcast that I found by happens chance. It's Jim Johnson, who's the Star Trek Adventures project manager, and Mike, I can't think of his name, see if I can find it. They do a podcast called Continuing Conversations. It's the official podcast for the Star Trek Adventures mega fan. And I'll do a link in the stream chat here for all those that are listening live. But definitely give them a follow, and if you're so inclined, give us a follow over at Overland Gamer. And thank you much.
For those watching in the archive, that will of course be in the description of the video below. But if any of you ever wish to join us live, then as you watch, you accrue channel points in this game, and those channel points, we call Quatlus here, you can spend them in ways to affect the outcome of the game now, such to where you can provide the players momentum or threat, increase or decrease difficulties on rolls. You can even create advantages or complications for our players. If you want, you can even provide voice lines to the GM for an NPC. So if you're ever around, feel free to do that. I feel like I don't need to remind the players at this point that you don't spend in your own games. Not unless you want the GM to just hydrate or stretch or something like that. The GM appreciates self-care. Where we started off with last session was with an individual we've not seen outside a stasis pod in some time. A man by the name of Traven Lex. A Trill man wandering about the galaxy for some time before he had met the crew of the Yan, and who wound up entering their company as the ship's chef, and who met a terrible fate at the hands of a mutated clone version of their own crew. From that point, Traven found himself aboard a boat out in a very dreary sea, guided by a Klingon boatman. You learned, Traven, that you were in fact on the mythical ship of the dead, a place that, in Klingon legend, ferries the souls of those who failed to accrue honor, the Klingon equivalent of hell, a place of eternal torment where honor would never be earned and where no songs would be sung. You found, however, you were not alone. You have with you 7 other Trill, faces you all recognize, and one you certainly never thought to see again, though you remembered him from the times before, for they are all former hosts of the Lex symbiote, some passed from eras just before the major unifying wars and before Trill had set foot into the stars, and others very closely your contemporaries. There's a range of pioneers and warriors, poets and professors, all manner of figures of who lived their life to some significance, and they appeared to be accompanying you on this voyage. As you strain to figure out, near as the boatman can tell you is that you are a strange bunch, not simply because you are not Klingon, but because it seems as though, in some fashion, you don't quite fit here. In your particular case, Traven, he cannot quite make out the quality, although there is a bit more spirit to you. The others, in some sense, feel a bit more like an echo or something that is being dragged about. Whatever's going on, the Klingon seems to have insinuated that you could well be some sort of spiritual anchor to your former hosts. the conversation as far as all of you have had, aside from trying to figure out something about what happened to the lives after for the symbiotes, while they have some memory of their past, they do not feel as blended right now or as unable to truly link with memories of a future host. Aside from figuring that out, you've postulated that either there might be something to this Garethor business, or perhaps that this is in fact some way that the Lex symbiote is trying to struggle, and perhaps Traven still too. You don't know anything really to this point as far as what your ultimate condition is. You know only at this point, as the boatman has told you, that your best chance at getting out of here was to try and make a plea with Theklar, the guard of the underworld, and maybe, just maybe, the guardian of Grethor would allow you the opportunity to plead your case and perhaps escape. Resolving yourself as best you could, the boat arrived at the gates of Grethor, where Theklar and his servants, the Fakiri, posed a challenge to you, creating a line that they dared you to pass. You just managed to get through, and Traven stepped forward. Theklar, somewhat interested in you, has given you the opportunity to face the horrors of Grethor and potentially advance beyond, or be able to make a case that you're not bound for here, that something different may yet allow you to advance. So, with that, you are allowed through the gate.
Before we continue, Mr. GM,
Yes.
I would like to dispute the fact that Traven joined our crew, seeing as he was essentially kidnapped by a very large and hungry Kazin.
Well, that's fair. He's somewhere between joining your...
Excuse you.
the chaos when Ray really tries to emphasize a point.
I put myself in the bag, I think was what she was trying to say.
Exactly. Uh-huh. Uh-huh. Wait, I said that. What did you mean now?
It's more that you are like coming in all sorts of messed up right now, at least on my end.
Yeah, your audio is getting a little
Yeah, your
distorted.
audio is, yeah.
It's the nebula the ship's in.
Ooh.
I blame the Aegis crew.
They have done nothing as to create a complication, threat, or anything of the sort yet.
They went past the Quatloos and went straight to her IP address.
You had to use the word yet. Damn you, sir.
Sorry, I have a quick question, a quick point of order. Is that 21 threat?
Oh,
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay, just checking.
You are going through the torments of Klingon hell. You didn't think things were going to get
I
a little
understand.
crazy.
I understand. I just wanted to make sure that I was reading that correctly.
We are being punished for several bad jokes.
I see.
This is true. More so than anything else, that is true.
I should have been here last week.
I don't know if you would have saved us.
I would have made it 30.
Oh, so we'd have start with a nice round number.
Exactly.
Okay. If we could have at least gotten to 23, we would have been to a prime number. But, we couldn't get there.
Yeah, that is our prime directive after all.
Ooh. No, don't.
Nope, not quite.
Not quite bad enough. Thank you.
Stepping through the gates, you and your fellow former hosts file in Traven. As you enter the halls of Grethor, truly a place of deep infamy and terror, well earned in the stories you may have heard from Klingons or read, even the passing reference. It does indeed seem a terrible place, but it does not quite do justice to the smells of decay and of ash and sulfur, overbearing humidity of the air that feels like even for a Klingon would probably be oppressive, nor the heat that comes off of each roaring torch that just feels like it drains away with every footfall. But that's not truly the most disturbing part about this place. It's the screams. Undoubtedly, Traven, in your time aboard a bird of prey, on Gleedan 2, or even some of the time on the On, you may have had cause to hear the guttural, rage-filled scream of a Klingon warrior. Someone prepared to do battle or declare themselves proudly. These are not the screams that reside within this place. These are screams of broken people. People utterly bereft of bravery or unable to steel themselves to whatever threats lay beyond. These are the screams of Klingons who have truly lost hope and have lost the will to fight. Who, even if they could give battle, if the myths are true, would never win. They'd never have a deed worthy of song in this place. They are consigned, as you may well be if you are not careful in the challenges ahead, to a life of dishonor, of torture, and of fear. The halls that you initially pass through, despite the screams, seem completely devoid of any life, save as you approach the nearby chamber for one individual standing at a distance. You cannot fully make out every detail on his face, but it appears to be someone presenting as a Klingon male in old ramshackle armor. Very much of the more traditional Hemhoch complexion, those with the more conventional ridges, but of piercing, glowing, nay, burning, yellowish orange eyes. Before you begin to close the distance or do anything else, you may of course take a moment to chat amongst yourselves. How do you wish to proceed?
Is it always this hot in Klingon land?
I
Traven?
think it's hot in every hell.
If this is hell,
Well, we've already determined that it's Klingon hell.
Thought there would be more.
I've
mud.
seen midterms. That's hell.
I know. I was in your class, remember?
Ooh,
Yes. You should have done better.
I did well enough. I got Lex.
I was old and emotional by then.
All right, fine. Still a wise ass. Let's keep going. Now, does anybody recognize anybody? Traven,
Yeah.
who's that in front of us? You're the only one here who would recognize that.
I only knew of the boat. There's not much talk of everything else. Then again, I don't think people have made it out of here. But if it's a challenge, I gotta just walk up to him, right?
Apparently, we can be killed here, which is something I don't quite understand. So,
You can do it, buddy. Go get him.
I need that motivation right now.
Come on, we're all here with you. Like we have a choice, but
I was about to say,
And besides, I would hate for Traven to be known as the one who messed up so badly he killed the Lex symbiote. So yes, we're with you.
well, seeing as we would all go with him, that would be bad.
Yes, well.
At first, the support was good. Now it hurts. I'm just gonna go.
Go.
I'm gonna walk up to the man. Slowly.
Someone new. Someone of a frail constitution. Though you are not so resigned yet. What is your name?
Traven, Lex.
That is the last time you shall speak it here. For your names and those of your companions no longer hold meaning here. Nor do any that remain. He squints slightly, just barely allowing slivers of that yellow-orange light to escape. It feels all the more piercing somehow. You are not just here resigned to your fate. You Have you been allowed the right to challenge?
Correct.
Ah, how tiresome. Theklar is losing his touches. Well, if that is your wish here, then you may yet depart this place. You must, however, first contend with my 3 challenges. Through each door there rests an avatar of cowardice, treachery, and dishonor. Face them, and perhaps Theklar will consider your fate. Fail, and you remain with me.
Are these avatars of my own manifestations?
You think that these challenges would so bind onto you? You're truly a conceited individual. We have many of them here. You may recognize those, indeed. Some here may bear familiarity. Some may have already come in advance of you. Plenty die, and plenty do so in dishonor.
Before I start, as a request from my captain, if I do get back, there's a specific captain that died recently due to treachery, and I want to know if he's here. Could you tell me that?
He smiles wordlessly at you.
I'll take that as a yes.
Frem
I'm
holds
gonna-
up Frem holds up one hand, goes, I have a question. If we're dead, how can we die?
There are worse fates than what you consider death here. Fail too often, and you are most assuredly mine.
And who is it that we are wagering our eternal servitude on? I should like at least to know the name of this apparition in front of me.
He crosses his arms and says, "My name bears little meaning, but well, perhaps it does still strike fear. For I was the first doomed here. I am Molor."
Oh, nice to meet you, Mole.
Wait, don't I have several of those in my mouth?
The feeling is not mutual, and the GM will consider taking threat. You're not entirely sure what the exact specifics of those words meant, but they fill you with such fundamental existential dread as to send shivers down your spine.
I'm gonna go through the treachery door first.
I feel like I should take this opportunity to tell the Aegis crew that, or tell the listeners and the people watching that you should go on Saturday and help out the Aegis crew by spending your Quatlus or your Twitch channel points to assist them.
Everybody get that? Assist.
Enhance the narrative.
This Klingon with burning eyes, he raises his hand to the left and says, "You will find treachery through that door. Their avatar will lay out your challenge. Then, to his right, he points, through that door, cowardice and fear will be your threshold. And beyond me lies dishonor."
The biggest question is, should I handle the one that I think I can handle the hardest or the easiest first?
It matters not to me.
I wasn't talking to you, but thank you
Oh,
for that input.
well then, I've been terribly rude. Sorry about that. Bye. He just burns.
Okay, now I kind of feel bad.
Wow.
I mean, us Lexes haven't exactly been known for our cowardice. Come on. That wouldn't be so hard.
When have we ever ran from a fight?
I'm going to be quiet about that. And next question.
How many of us experience fear daily? Is that a thing we have? She looks around.
I'm pretty certain we have all felt fear. That's kind of unavoidable, isn't it?
Ah, yes. No, totally normal. I do experience fear regularly. That's she looks kind of off put that
I'm feeling that thing I haven't felt since I was like a teenager. Oh yeah, feelings.
yeah, I experience feelings every day of my life.
Have you in?
So, Raven, where do you want to go?
I think I'm gonna save treachery for last. I know I can handle that one. If there's one thing about me, there's not a treacherous bone in my body. So I'm gonna go with fear first. That one's the hardest.
Yeldon does not look enthused that fear was chosen first.
Yeah, with that, Traven, I believe that that would be the turn to your left then, and through that door. So, would that be your final answer on that?
We will go fear door.
The 8 of you file through and make your way over to the make your way over to the supposed lair of cowardice. Uh, You push open through the door. There's no one there to greet you, and you find yourself in a very dark chamber. It appears that there is some sort of. It's hard to make out shapes. There might be a column, or there might be some walls ahead. There is a slight reflection of some sort of metal. For anything more, I'd say give me an insight and I will allow for engineering, security, or science on this roll for anyone that wishes to roll.
I'll do insight and science. Do any of my focuses apply?
Uh, let's see. Would you care
Structural
to?
engineering?
I think that would work.
It was insight, and what was
Either
security was.
engineering, security, or science.
Well, I will do insight and security. I don't believe any of my foci
Would my survival
appropriate.
focus apply?
I think it would actually work. Okay.
3 successes from Yellow.
That is three from Yeldum, 2 from Frem, and 2 from Belinar. I'm going to say that I will award momentum to the highest roll here. I was going to call that a difficulty 1 roll to start us off. I also think I would have shaved off a point of threat at the start, so I will just allow Traven. I'm going to give you a point of momentum.
Got it.
Very good. First and foremost, Yeldum, as you try to get a bit of a look around, the room's architecture seems to be fairly standard for whatever nonsensical, horrid goth style hell. The architecture here seems pretty consistent, but this chamber doesn't seem particularly large from what you can make out. It just seems to be exceptionally dark. However, you do spot that there appears to be a large metallic emplacement for a torch, something that may even, it looks as though it may have something in place already so that you could conceivably light that.
Well, this place looks as nonsensical as everything else I've seen, but do we light it? The torch up ahead?
I mean, probably. And I think a test of cowardice would probably be pretty forward.
Does anybody have anything to light a torch with? I'm afraid I'm fresh out of matches.
I believe we have some sticks we might be able to rub together, but I think that'd be about it.
I mean, we got a bunch of wood scrap, and we got cloth, and there's a room behind us with fire.
Point taken.
I'm going to walk forward and observe and try to get a better look at this torch holder.
As you close the distance, and because you were as successful as you were, it's actually something more ground-based. It's more something resembling a fire pit. It's something that could easily be placed around and like a large roaring sort of circular fire. I'd say it's about maybe about probably 2 feet in diameter, or maybe 2.5. So of a fair size. It seems as though there are some materials in there that might well be combustible. There's maybe some ash that's been in there. This may have already been ignited. As you get closer towards it, you hear a rustling just off to your side. What are you doing? What are you doing? Stop!
Well, my dear, what exactly should I stop?
Don't light it. You'll open the way. It's the terrors. I can't take any more of it.
Come here, dear. Come
No,
out.
no, not a chance. Made that mistake once. Not doing it again.
We haven't lit it yet. It's safe.
The rustling seems to back off a bit. They're on a far side of the dark room that is beyond what you can see.
I sigh. Listen, either I'm going to need to see you, so I'm going to light this, or you can come and let me see you without lighting it.
Not coming over there. Fools! Just go. Far from here. Go. Before it's too late.
Okay. Traven, I suppose we have to light this then.
He's afraid. We have to light the fire. Does anybody have anything that we can create a spark from, at least?
Well, someone did mention we just left the room full of fire and we have some sticks.
Can we go back out?
Yep, the door behind you is still open. There is no object in your way that would keep you from doing so.
I'll be
And the
right back. I'll go take this stick that I've got and I'll go set it on fire and come back in. Does that work?
The GM has no objection, and I will
No,
just...
that was character asking the rest of character.
Sounds
Oh,
good.
For sure.
All right.
If only the fires in our hearts could light things around here.
Frem would light this whole area.
Oh yeah. So yeah, go out to take my chunk of wood, my stake or whatever, and stick it in the fire and try to light it.
Okay. I will just allow the simple intuition, I will allow the simple advantage of you are able to light the stick. There are fires aplenty here. I will not force a task upon you for this.
Oh no, he burned off his arm.
He is the fire.
Yeah.
Set myself on fire, jump into the thing.
Yep. So you walk back in with the wood aflame from the fires that burn from various other parts of Grethor. It is, I will say, slightly taxing to carry this. There is not just a heat to this, but for some reason a weight that feels like it has come upon you. But you are nonetheless able to make it back and rejoin them in the darkened room. Do you move to light the flame?
Absolutely.
Before we light it, I want to make sure everybody's got a hold of each other.
Hands on hold your partner. Hands on shoulder.
Because in case one of us tries to run away, we stay here.
So are we locking hands, locking arms? What are we doing?
I think arms would be best.
Okay.
So you form a chain of Trill, walking abreast, with Frem at one end of it set to light the flames. And with that, you shall all need to scroll down here as we start. The light takes the chamber. You find a figure drawing away from the flames, raising his arm to try to cover him. Upon closer inspection, although the clothes are somewhat loose-fitting, you can make out some features. In particular, that this particular gentleman seems very well built in terms of his upper body. It's almost like like a very triangular sort of torso, very broad shoulders and sort of thick arms that are just barely holding in the sleeves. This man's busting out of his shirt. Yes, kind of Dorito physiology, but very spindly legs as he tries to back up. something that slightly comes across there. His face is firmly shrouded and he keeps his hands. You fools! Why would you do it? Why would you do that? Why would you come here? You don't want to wake him. You don't want to go through those doors. You can't go
You see,
there.
you could have just answered our question at the beginning, and we wouldn't have had to light this fire.
No. Not doing this. Not again. No. Too horrible. Not even you could subject yourselves. Not without a toll.
What's the toll?
That he extends a trembling arm and points a finger towards a darkened corner, sort of opposite the wall. One goes in there. You notice that what appears to be a sarcophagus or coffin is rested against the wall at an incline, such that one could step in and lean back and be at, like, relative to the ground, sort of a. It would certainly be an angle, or if you were to think of how the sarcophagus is, like, from the floor to the like back of the sarcophagus, it's like a 45-degree angle, basically. So, it would you would be leaning back and standing in there, like standing in there, or all kind of between laying down and standing up. One goes in there. One represents true, genuine bravery. One has met their tasks without fear, who has faced dangers and hazards of all shape and size, and did so unflinchingly. Those who fulfilled their duty in the terror of battle, only their unwavering courage could open the way to the dark beyond.
And who are you again?
My name doesn't matter. It stopped mattering long ago. Those blasted monsters. They came. They took everyone I knew. They took me.
No. Usually, usually, when someone asks you to do something, when a stranger asks you to do something, you don't just do it. What reason do we have to believe you?
You want to risk the terrors beyond?
I want facts. I want the truth.
I only know what I feel deep in my bones, that this place is terror incarnate, and whatever is through that door is many times worse. If you do not face it if you go to face it, then you will surely. I don't know, just that great and terrible fates will befall you. You don't want to go in there. I don't want that door open again. I just know it's been there. I know something terrible rests on the other side.
Have you ever looked?
I'm not going in there. He runs to the corner and just shouts back in a hoarse whisper. You want to throw your lives away? Fine, you make those decisions yourself. Just leave me out of it.
Why don't you go in the coffin? It's safe in there, right?
The door would almost be sparing compared to that. No. I cannot go in there either. Cannot face them again.
Isn't the measure of a Klingon warrior's strength their ability to face any challenge that stands in their way?
What are you talking about? What nonsense are you on about? Have you not been listening to me? If you go in there, death and terror will abound.
Seems to me the worst for a Klingon warrior is my understanding of their culture. The worst part is what's standing right before us here. Pointing at him.
fools, you're all fools, you're all dead, and I won't be part of it. Just leave me alone.
Well, if you won't be a part of it, then leave. The door's right there.
He just starts rocking back and forth.
I'm going to go and try to grab him and escort him out of the room.
Give me a fitness and security roll. I think that I'm just going to say it is a flat difficulty 5.
And definitely structural engineering, because I know exactly where to move him at. Just kidding.
I think that this man is far more stubborn than even the worst of your students.
You're being far too nice. I was going to drag him into the next room.
This man will not be moved.
Fine. Sit there, wallow, do whatever you need to.
At this point, they've become completely unresponsive. But they have left you with a degree of information, which Romaldo, a man whose exploits you don't know particularly well, Yeldon, but you recall Traven was supposedly a captain of early Trill exploratory vessels. Seems to be glancing closer at the sarcophagus in the room. So, this is a pickle here. I mean, this guy's not too terribly helpful, but if I'm gleaning what he's saying like what he's saying here, then one of us would actually have to remain behind and stay in the. I don't know. Maybe we rest in the sarcophagus and maybe it's like a pressure switch of some sort.
That's what I'm thinking.
Well, resting in a dark, cold place? Oh, I'm used to that.
It's the other part I'm worried about.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be fine.
I've run from a lot of things. However, there's a few people here I know who haven't ran from anything a day in their life. And they can accurately say that.
Well, sometimes you run, but you always come back.
It sounds as though you have some thoughts on who you might like to see in there, although of course we should let everybody venture their own guess, my boy. Lindell, your old mentor, joins in. Whom do you... Well, I suppose I'm curious, whom do you think would be most apt to the task? Or maybe better to ask them who think they would be the best fit. Tabo certainly stands on that.
You can always start with the first. Felinar.
As I've heard of the Klingon saying, it would be an honor.
Being an artist is a tough challenge, but being an explorer on top of being an artist is an even bigger one. That's a life of people telling you no and telling them to shove it. But there's also Frem. What did you do when people told you no?
Go to hell?
I think that's an understatement. Hold on one second. I'm sorry, I'm pulling up everything so I don't get something wrong out of game.
No, fine.
You started a chain of events. You don't know this, I don't think. But you
No, I
started
don't,
a chain of
because we
events.
haven't. Of course, I don't know it. You haven't let us. You haven't talked to any of us. We don't know each other.
Out of everybody here, you're the one that changed the world probably the most.
That's nonsense. All I wanted to do was to stop the foreign regime.
And you did. You are one of the most well-known freedom fighters and activists that we know of. There's like a whole 6-month lecture on the Cibio program of just you.
No.
Because you
No
never
way.
gave up. And when people told you probably shouldn't do something, you did it anyway. No matter what the cost.
Well, it did get me killed.
Which inevitably saved probably millions of lives. And if the war was still going on, more than that. There's too many choices to choose from. You've all been brave. Even Belinar, one of the best pilots ever.
I do not advise you sacrifice Frem. You will need her later in life. But I don't care if it's me.
Wait, do you think that if any of us die, he loses us from the symbiote?
What else could it mean to be left behind?
Oh my.
Oh no. I'm talking about who needs to face the monster. I'm going in the coffin.
Then you are a fool.
Yes, my boy, if you go in there, I thought that this Theklar, he was quite clear. The challenges are for you to face. If you do not pass through the way, then that may in and of itself cause you to fail, or I suppose it could do worse. It could trap you in there.
Why are you even here? You don't make sense. Everyone else is supposed to be here. We are all a part of you, Traven. But him,
Wait, are you talking to me? Lyndall says.
I'm pointing directly at him.
Oh, I'm. Well, I suppose you wouldn't know me, Yeldum. I was a bit after your time, but I was. Um. Well, this is. Romaldo jumps in. He was my chef. Uh, as a condition after what happened to Belinar, the incident that took her life, I was only allowed to. Well, I obviously took the Lex symbiote sometime earlier in my career, but the only reason I was allowed to command a ship was with explicit guarantees from the Symbiosis Commission that I have people deemed compatible um, when it was on my crew. So I had a few backup members of the crew that, in the worst case scenario, if anything happened to me, that the Lex symbiote's continued existence would be secured. And well, uh, Lindell Lex was he was a he met all the physiological requirements. He had a good number of the um, he had a good number of other factors that the commission considered at least acceptable for our purposes. I always saw some chance for him to really make a name for himself, though as we're all having the problem, I cannot speak to the I cannot speak at the future host, so I don't know how Lindell survived or how it even how it came to that. I'm afraid there wasn't much choice. The ship's astro navigation officer died from a ruptured plasma conduit, and the only other option was an engineer who took a very near fatal dose of oh dear. Oh no! Keyboard cat
Fatal
time.
deuce.
Oh dear. Streamer fails live. Spectacular. Anyway, um, one of the engineers, the other option, absorbed a near fatal dose of radiation, and the only reason that they lived for many years afterwards was the steady stream of cancer medication that she had to take. I was the last option, and um, it wasn't always my intention, but I I saw to it to make the most of my life, and I may not be the I'm I certainly don't think I belong in that coffin. I will admit to that. But it's well, I tried to make people as happy as possible to uh, spread my art as much as I could. Indeed, I toured around once Trill joined the Federation. I started to make a name for myself as a chef on many worlds, and I saw much, I experienced much. I wish I could share it with all of you as we normally could, but I can't do that, unfortunately. All I can say is my last proud act was to ensure that I had taken another promising young chef under my wing. And as he says this, he places an arm on Traven's shoulder. Which is why I'm just terribly concerned here. I appreciate the sentiment. I think we all could, Traven, but I I don't think that you would be proper for this.
Before I do this, there's one thing I need to figure out. And I turn to the beard dude, the dude that's afraid.
All
What
right.
did you do to get here?
I didn't want to come. We found
Yeah.
found that place. We found the ship. We just tried to get in. We tried to do what we could, apply ourselves, and the monsters were all about.
I'm just gonna get in the hole.
Oh, Tabo, with a light hop and a skip in his step, jumps towards the coffin and leans back, taking a casual but at once rested, a casual sort of rested composure as he finds himself now leaned back in the sarcophagus. And
Sorry, Traven, my boy. We are on borrowed time.
and with that, the sarcophagus slams shut. The door opens, and through it is a further, deeper darkness.
I run through it.
Okay. So, Traven, you run first. Are the rest of you moving to run through with him? Or is anyone staying behind and letting Traven go on his own?
Frem is stunned for just a second, goes, well, all right then, and skitters off after him.
Felinar will go after him too.
And Belinar follows.
And I'll take up the rear.
Yep. Romaldo and Lindell will start as best as they can. Romaldo is slightly quicker to react and is probably somewhere between at least Frem and Belinar, I think. Lindell also rushes in exuberantly, though he's maybe just a little slower, so he'll probably be just a little ways ahead of you, Yeldum. And as you proceed through, the lights begin to fade. Your footfalls meet to hard stone for an amount of time that you can't fully measure. You can only tell with each footfall that the road seems to be a simple paved sort of stone up until the point that some of them start coming to be a little uneven. As a matter of fact, I'm going to ask everybody give me a difficulty 1 fitness and security roll.
All of us?
Yes.
All right.
Once again, momentum will go to the highest, while any failures will exact a...
Any focuses kick in here, or I don't believe so. Probably not. No, none of mine do.
You may pitch something specific, otherwise I'm going to say no.
No, the only one I could think of would have been guerrilla tactics, but we're not even using any tactics. We're just running forward like crazy people.
Yep. The whole Leroy Jenkins here.
Yeah, we just that's exactly what we did.
Yep. Obviously, the exception here is no need for Caligo to roll here. I am going to see how Lindell and Romaldo do. So let's see. Romaldo first. Oh, he's going to fail. And let's see. Then Lindell. Oh my. The poor dude, fitness and security are not his big things. But he still does better than the space archer equivalent, or the trill archer equivalent. So amidst the running, you're going to hear behind you Traven. You're going to hear the sound of some scuffling and groan as one of your hosts hits the floor behind you.
I stop immediately and turn around back.
Oh, damn. Oh, sorry. It's ground's gotten a bit uneven here. I starts feeling against the walls. I think we've found our way into some sort of cave, I think.
Just get up and keep moving.
You make your way forward and you find a steady build of illumination. It's unusual though. Ahead of you, it seems as though you know, the you're not certain where any light is properly coming from. There's no obvious source, either from a hole somewhere in the ceiling that a natural light source would enter. There's no sensation of, or there's no seeming like torchlight. Um, it's also strange insofar as up to a certain point it seems that the area remains engulfed in darkness. Do you continue to walk forward?
Yep.
Okay. Uh, Everybody test your tokens if you would, just to make sure that you can move those. I think that I have it enabled to where everybody should be able to play with that.
Yeah, looks good.
All right. Romaldo moves up. He's going to stick close to the walls. Lindell will also continue to walk up. Oh, well, the caves, these caves, they at least, well, I'm trying to work out. No, geology wasn't really any sort of focus of mine. I will say, for your purposes, the caves, this cave that you have entered, it is still a little bit warmer than what would be comfortable for any of you. However, it is not quite as overbearing, and there's not the same sort of active flames in the as there were in the other parts of Grethor. Um, the ground appears jagged in various parts, uneven, but not so difficult for you to walk across as or like it's something that should be easy to traverse so long as you are careful. Uh, there are several other like little jagged outcroppings ahead, beyond the point where darkness shrouds the screen. You can presently not see anything, though as you moved forward into this, more became visible, so that may well be the way to proceed. So, what do you wish to do? Oh, Traven's moving up.
I say we keep 3 on each side of the wall. Make sure we stay together.
Where the hell? There we go.
Lindell's going to move out of the way, bumping into you there. This is a motley group of quite the motley group you have with you. You have the relative assurance of the the trained pilot that is Belinar to your left, just behind you. Lindell, your trusted mentor to your right. Felinar and Yeldon bring up the rear with On the left, Frem and Romaldo taking the lead. As you advance slightly further, you hear an unusual crackling sound somewhere in the distance, something you can't quite make out. You also notice the steady glint of light expands, and what appear to be rock formations are out ahead. They would appear to be stalagmites coming up to varying heights. I'd say some to about waist height, others to close to chest height. Enough that if one so needed, they could provide a decent hiding place or cover if you were thinking in a tactical situation.
Frem is keeping a very close eye on everything that she can see, looking for things that are moving, keeping an eye on the others around her, and basically, whispers quietly, "Stick together. Everybody stick together. Don't be by yourself."
Then why are you by yourself over there?
Nobody. I'm not now, am I?
Okay.
Yeldon will not say it, but she will follow Frem, basically. She'll stick with Frem.
All right.
Which is hilarious because Frem followed Yeldon.
Exactly.
So you and your fellow symbiotes continue to inch your way forward, Traven. As you advance, more and more stone appears to be showing up. Although it seems you're getting to a point of diminishing returns. From this distance, slightly less ground is showing up. I will ask people to describe how are you taking steps forward, or give me an impression of what you are doing with each step. Just
Ooh.
Crouch walking.
yeah. Everybody be as descriptive as you so wish as you move your tokens up. We do have an audience at home, some of whom might be listening and not able to watch, so they won't see you buzz to and fro.
Ah, gotcha, sir.
Oh.
So yeah, continuing forward, I'm hugging the wall. This is a cavern, right? Not a plateau.
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I'm kind of just hugging the wall. Tactically, this is to make sure no one can, necessarily sneak up on me, and limits the directions from which an opponent can approach. So yeah, sticking to the wall for right now.
Okay.
I'm circling around, keeping my center focus on that stalactite, so that way I'm constantly facing it as I'm moving closer to it.
Indeed. It appears to be quite a sturdy structure, and one that you can carefully rest on. Let's see. Going to the next person forward there, Belinar, would you care to describe how you advance up the way?
Belinar is mirroring Traven's movements, so she's on the opposite side of the stalagmite. She walks very straightforward, brandishing her weapon, and then keeping one down at her side in case she has to do a double attack.
Fair. Let's see. Yeldum, anything in particular as far as your approach here?
Nothing in particular. I am following where Frem goes and just trying to take everything in, try to see if I can come up with any kind of connection with what this place might be. Not being entirely too careful, honestly, with where I'm going. More just studying the place that we are at to try and draw some conclusions.
Fair enough. And just to check with the last of the player characters here, Felinar, how would you be advancing, such as you think he'd be walking forward? Or would he be hanging back a little relative to the bunch?
I'd be hanging. Yeah, he'd be hanging back, kind of observing the group, ready to pounce if the need arises.
Copy of that. So, Romaldo, for his part, with the with the bearing of one of the military trained men of the group, will, uh, as with Traven and Belinar, maintain a crouch walk. He, however, is going to advance not quite up the middle, but more along the left in order to make it near the other slightly thinner stalagmite where he has some space. He will have a blunted mek'leth at the ready. It's one of the weapons that he was able to take with you. Um, Lindell, on the other hand, will come up behind Traven and say, "We're with you, boy."
Stay behind cover at all times. Please.
All right. I'm going to ask you now, how do you choose to advance next? Or rather, would you be on the move here, Traven, or would you try to convince one of the others to move up in your stead?
Romaldo, move with me up towards these stalactites in front of us, the ones that are parallel to each other.
Got it.
Frem is going to go to behind this little stalagmite. Still armed with, like I said, she still has that chunk of broken batleth, which is technically a broken mek'leth at this point. So,
Hey, let's see. Traven, give me an insight and security, if you please. You may alternatively use engineering here.
They are the same.
Okay. So that is going to be 1 success from Traven and 2 from Romaldo. He will be the first to notice and say, "Hey, Traven, some sort of change in the texturing ahead. I think we might be entering some other sort of room here. Can't make it out. It looks almost metallic."
Is there a rock nearby?
Um, there would probably be a small rock within reach.
I grab it, I toss it into the other room, and then hide behind quickly.
The rock clatters and echoes with each knock against the ground through that. It's not entirely sure whether to call it mist or a veil, perhaps, something of the sort. Through the darkness, each clatter betrays something more metallic, something far more familiar, like that of deck plating.
You said there was a mist?
It's essentially the darkness that seems to hover ahead of you and obscure your view. For the above board purposes, it's the fog of war in Roll20. Basically, as you take a step forward each time, more of it dissipates and you see more of whatever resides beyond.
I turned back to Lindell. Hey, did that sound like a ship's hull to you? Like I threw it onto a ship?
It could be. Right? Perhaps there's a ship there. Then maybe there's. Well, I don't know what it would simulate, but we might. I mean, starships generally have consoles or machinery, things that some of us might be able to access.
Frem, can you get closer to scout out and take a look?
do what now?
Can you scout out forward and take a look for me?
All right, so Frem's going to be crouching down, being a little sneaky. Come up here, stand next to Romaldo for a second.
Okay.
Peeking around the stalagmite, what can be seen? Anything? Is it just the dark?
At the distance you are all at, it is still the darkness has not yet dissipated any further.
All right, we just lost Rev.
Oh
Power
no.
failure. Power failure.
Oh dear. That is unfortunate.
That's been happening a lot down here.
Yeah. We wish all of you, both for those playing and those watching, the utmost safety. And unfortunately, these things strike. Hopefully, we are able to get Rev back here in a bit, and if not, hopefully they are at least having a safe evening.
I returned.
Oh, good.
Oh,
Yay!
The generator finally kicked on.
Very good.
that was a
Nice.
long delay. All right.
Basically at the moment, from the distance you are all at, no more of the fog is giving way.
All right. So can't see anything else past where the quote unquote fog of war is allowing us to see.
Yes.
Or the fog of supernatural post life plane of existence is allowing us to see.
Indeed. You
All right.
will still have to get closer, it seems.
Okay, so is this really a nook in the wall right here?
Uh, yeah, that would conceivably be a nook.
All right, so Frem is going to, running that half bent over, at the knees kind of thing, go over here and get there.
Also,
And
sorry, just
peer around it.
quick
Yes?
question. Is Felnar intentionally staying that far behind everyone else?
Yes.
Okay.
Frem, as you begin to peek around, you start seeing a little bit more as panels begin to light up. It is a harsh yellow-orange light.
Hmm.
You're also beginning to think that you're making out the beginnings of a structure.
Raven,
Yeah.
does the sound? How is the sound in this chamber? Is it echoey?
You mean relative to, like within the cavern?
Yeah, like when
Uh,
we speak, how echoey is it?
there's a slight echo, I would say.
All right.
Like
So
you're in a good
stage
acoustic spot for it.
okay. So stage whisper across the chamber to Traven. Traven, there's lights up there, and a metal floor.
Here goes nothing.
Traven, the deck plating is as standard as generic as would be a Klingon ship at any point, but the first thing that comes to you as your sight clears of it are those damned pylons. Those you have only seen in a particular part. And the next thing that greets you is the sound of a low rumble and terrible eyes that start to glow. As it opens, standing tall as you remember, if not more so, perhaps easily, coming over what you would expect to be Woe's height, 10 feet tall, with ragged,
Oh dear.
scratched battle armor, and wide as a tank. That damned aberration, that thing that horrid ship ushered forth into this galaxy, that which came to you the first time. It's here. And with Caligo taking over here, you are now in combat.
Oh boy. The next round.
Yep. So, Traven, with it standing before you, the Trill do have the first initiative. What do you do? Actually, before I ask that, I should say, Traven, go ahead and give me, let's call this a control plus command roll, just to see how you are doing handling all of this. And we'll go ahead and spend some threat to increase your complication range. We'll call it 3.
Can I use my survival focus?
I feel like this is more a composure sort of thing, but I'll allow for it. Also, Caligo, let me know if you would like access to the threat pool, or just let me know how many points you want to spend if it comes to it.
I see.
That is 1 success, so that is I think that we'd set this to what, 2, 3, and something of the sort. I'm pretty sure it's a fail either way. So
Oof.
that won't force you to necessarily run, but that should give you something of a mental state right now, as the thing that sent you here in the first place has now marshaled before you.
Was actually gonna play into what I was gonna do. No.
Oh,
And hide. In the fetal position.
okay. Do any of you want to try to keep the initiative here?
Has it seen any of us?
It probably saw Traven just because he was the one that had stepped forward most exposed.
Ugh. All right. Well, I do want to try and trick it or attack it or something. Can we do something, you guys?
Well, first I do need to ask, are you spending the momentum to keep the initiative?
I'm not. Someone else can decide that.
Traven is the one in command of the.
Traven,
The
you want to try
momentum
and hand it
track.
off to one of the other crew, see if the other hosts will help?
Absolutely.
Oh, come on.
Okay. Traven, drop.
Help you? Come on, we're here to
Make a
harm you.
choice here, dude.
Drop. Go ahead and drop 2 momentum. Also, describe to us with Traven hiding behind the stalagmite. How's he doing?
He's not doing okay at all. He is rocking back and forth, saying not again, not again, not again, over and over and over again.
Yeah, it will be most plain to you, Belinar. Traven is not going to be of immediate help, so that's 1 point dropped. I just need 1 more there, Cheesy.
There
All
it
right,
goes.
we're good. So with that, yeah, the turn order is still with you guys right now. Belinar, you said you wanted to try and do something to this thing?
You said those, I can't remember if you said stalagmites or stalactites. I don't know which one is which, but
It's the floor-based one, thus
yeah, I
providing
know.
cover from
The
crouch.
pointy rock on the floor.
Yeah,
I
I'm
get that
pretty
it's
sure
floor based. I don't know which one stands for floor based. Okay,
believe
that's
it
not
is-
the issue.
I believe it is stalagmite.
That is
Okay,
correct, because stalactites have to hold tight to the ceiling.
Yes.
that
There's
is
your
a good
mnemonic.
way to remember that. Oh my
There's
god,
your
thank
mnemonic.
Yep.
you. Okay.
Science.
Anyways, science. Is there any way we can trip this bitch and let him pierce his head on a stalagmite?
Well, it seems like he's going to have to move pretty deliberately, so I mean, it might be possible to do something like that. Um, if
I was
you can
thinking we
kind
draw
of,
him towards us.
yeah. Those stalagmites are definitely going to give him some issue. You're not sure how strong frankly, this dinosaur-like thing is, whether it can move them aside. The feet, its feet are very nearly like as broad as the stalagmites.
But it's only 10 feet tall.
That's fair.
That's
The GM's scaling is atrocious. They're wide, but not quite that wide. Nonetheless, this thing could be I'm going to say that this is something about its presence here is just distorting itself in ways that are difficult to comprehend.
Oh my god. Okay. Okay.
This is a fearful thing.
This is a fearful thing with indeterminable proportions. Just not at all. It's just like a. Oh my god. Okay.
Objects ahead of you.
Is it bellowing for the blood of Captain Kirk? Oh wait, sorry, wrong game.
Now, shut up. You in particular. I don't care that I'm not in charge. I'm in charge just to tell you to shut up, and then I go back to not being in
Is
charge.
that a Dorn microaggression?
Oh, that might rise to the threshold of giving me threat here.
No, no,
We
that should not.
we do not
Listen.
tolerate Gorn microaggressions here. The GM is trying to do better. We are not a pro Gorn in Strange New Worlds thing. Like that. It's not all kosher. The Gorn are not just monsters that uh, are not just evil monsters and
Okay,
that being
okay,
fine.
look, you can't take threat for us saying they're evil monsters when you have created two giant Gorn-sized evil monsters in two different games. That is not us. Give yourself threat and then use it on yourself. That is not for us. Oh my god.
That is an acceptable argument.
Thank you. Finally, I make sense. All right.
Now,
Oh. What? I don't know what to do.
would you like somebody else to conceivably act here?
Yes, somebody.
Okay. Tell you what, Felinar, would you like to give me an insight and a discipline of your choosing?
I will do insight and command.
All right. Um, well, you gave us insight and security there, and you managed to
Oh,
score 2 successes. Just perfectly fine, because that is enough to realize that there is rustling to the rocks immediately to the right of you as a small little figure crawls out. You'll walk it. Why would you do that? Oh, come this way. Everybody come to me. Are you any good at getting attention? Can you be loud and flamboyant and boisterous?
yeah.
You should probably do so. Otherwise, they will die.
All right. I'm going to step forward. Hey, you guys, get over here. In my loud, trill voice.
Yeah, the large barrel-chested ambassador and every man of his day, Felinar, cries out, firmly attracting the attention of all in the chamber, letting them know they of the direction to go. Unfortunately, now it is going to be the monster's turn. Caligo, I will say for your part, traversing these boulders, if you wish to do so, would be possible, but as a quite the beefy boy, you are going to it's going to take you time just to get to that. Or it's going to be a task just to get up to those.
You know, that's fine. That's fine by me. That's a good starting point.
All right. Would you like to start off with let's call this oh I think fitness and security for this will go off of the DAR sheet and supporting characters.
All right.
All right. That's going to be enough, and I will deal you your own point of threat here for success. So let's call that there. And I'll allow you to make it up to here. I will ask for your vivid description of what you do as the terror that you are manifesting as closes. How that is basically as you basically what you do in order to advance, or like give us your best. Be as descriptive as you can about the monster moment.
Oh, the thundering steps on dinted metal, stepping on to crushing stone. The beast lets out an angry hiss as it tries to taste out wherever its prey is hiding with a nice, long, nasty tongue. Sort of looking for the smell of fear itself. It's not so happy being woken up and the creaks of its bones as it stretches and pops its way over.
Um, as it crosses just past the pylons, a foot will come forward and rend the bit of deck plating before it, just shy of the stone. Um, its lumbering ceasing for just a moment. Uh, I will allow now everyone the opportunity because while let's see, while Felinar has drawn quite a bit of attention to himself, he has also essentially by his success and his calling out, he has created the advantage to allow you to escape towards the nook that he and some other figure has discovered. So all of you, I will allow basically as a part of the advantage or minor action. I'm willing to let you say, if you wish, you may all basically try to gather in that area. The one exception is going to be Traven. He will require active assistance in order to be moved at the moment. Call it penalty
Oh.
for the earlier failure.
I guess I will try to carry Traven.
Yep. Okay. For Belinar, that will be a fitness plus security. Traven, if you at least want to avoid offering resistance, I will allow an assist, or if you. Okay, there's one from Belinar. I realize I didn't set a difficulty here. Traven, do you want to try and make any effort on this end, or would you say he's just dead to the world basically at the moment?
Dead to the world.
Okay.
God damn it.
All right. Well, I think that I would be looking for a bit more success. What I will allow to happen as you are struggling to get him along, Lindell is going to rush back in your direction and place another arm beneath Traven's, and he's going to try for his part to also help him make it forward. Uh, I meant to only roll a single d20, but I wound up rolling two, and I'll just take the success that he rolls there. So between the two of you, you begin to rush back. Now, is anyone else staying behind, or is everyone regrouping out of the player characters?
If everybody's running, then I think even Frem would. Strategic withdrawal does not necessarily mean you're running away. It just
Yeah, it's not
means-
cowardice.
Not at
It
all.
means you're planning.
Yep.
Exactly. You have encountered in a situation you can't handle. Back the heck off. Refigure. Wow, added an
Yes.
extra R, and then come back later.
Yep. So
Oh, you
I'll
grabbed
move.
us both. Okay.
I'll move you two just a little closer, like to reflect you two running past here, but you can all consolidate around there as you wish. Romaldo will kind of give you the wave through, and as you pass, he will like draw up along the rear. Screw it. I will go ahead and consolidate all of you around that area if you guys don't mind.
Go right
Do it.
ahead.
All right. So the seven of you, or rather the six of you, consolidate around where near Felinar is, and the small companion that he seems to have discovered. Hello. There are a lot of you. There is just barely space. Come with me. Come with me if you want to live.
Not what I ever expected our little man to ever say, but you know what?
Ah!
I'll take
Oh
it.
my god, I can't believe you went there. Oh my
That should
lord.
cause threat. That should cause threat.
I smell
Threat?
dark
No,
magic.
no. That shouldn't cause threat. That should give us momentum.
You know, the reference is bad. I will allow Traven a point of momentum.
Yes. We need it.
All right, I'll go ahead and send that to you. Uh, the the small group that you've huddled into, it's tight quarters as you as you try to fit your way in the stone. But there is essentially a small, dark, cramped nook of sorts in the rock. Something with like just small scraps of what appear to be cloth, maybe bits of like you might vaguely make out some bits of fungus, a few other small materials. Just one would easily mistake it for debris if they, if you were to just walk across it. Oh, and some of our characters aren't visible there, so let me just fix that real quick. All right. You are lucky to come to my home. You probably would not survive against facing that.
What is that thing?
It is a terror, and I do not understand, but it is of great anger, and it it can smell out and determine cowardice. It is too great a threat to be overcome.
No such thing.
I agree with Frem on this.
Well, you are strange ones, and you are possessed of strange ideas.
Says the tiny little wait, is this is I have always pictured Beaupry as being a small blue guy, but he's not. Right? He's just got a
Vopri
big head.
is so Vopri is he is a shorter individual, and indeed his general hunch here would be very gruff. I'd say uh, you could almost imagine a golem-like figure here, as opposed to he usually just hunches over a little bit, often in his chair. He reflexively recoils around Klingons, something that has not completely gone away around the crew, or even its more friendly but still fearsome looking inhabitants. Um, Vopri has always taken on a sinewy white tone to his
Okay.
flesh. He is completely hairless. His eyes are completely black and reflective. He's a very slight, slender being.
Okay.
What would
Don't
draw you?
exactly know don't exactly know if we're the odd ones in comparison to present company.
Well,
You're
I,
definitely not a Klingon. Why are you here?
I am trapped. I do not wish to be here, but I, I must simply do what we can to survive. Uh, Give me one moment, and I'm sure you found yourself in quite a predicament. You must figure out what you wish to do. And with that, the entity, this slight little figure, will tend to what could generously be referred to as food stores, as he turns his attention away. So You are now, for the moment, out of combat, and your group here may attempt to resolve their next moves here.
Who are you? Where'd he go? Did he leave? He left?
He's just out of sight, or he's in. Apparently, he's in a part of the lair that hasn't been revealed, but he's just tending to food prep.
Okay, he stepped off camera. All right.
Yep.
Does anybody know who that was?
Seemed oddly familiar.
Look over at Traven.
Yeah, how is Traven doing?
Not good.
As going
Just,
off
like,
of
staring at a wall.
I don't know if he's still rocking at this point, but it seems pretty clear that the encounter that you've just had has shaken Traven in considerable fashion.
Traven.
I
Traven. Snap
Yeah.
out of it, dude. Traven, wake up.
What?
Look at me.
Yeah.
you know that thing?
What was that?
That's what killed me.
Well, you're not dead yet. So it can't be what killed you. But that's what attacked you?
We were
Something
sitting in.
that big and you charged it?
I didn't charge it fully. It was me and the captain and the crew. They were fighting it off. We were basically ambushed by it. And like a hunter, it hunted the tiniest, weakest thing it could find. And now I can just see it over and over again, chomping into my shoulder.
Was it that big?
Can't even remember. It seems like it was. I can't tell anymore.
I think your perspective is slightly off. While yes, it could have gone after perception could be that it gone after the weaker foe. It went after the foe with the greatest potential of destiny, if you think about it, because you carry all of us with you, and because of your sacrifice, you were able to let your crew hopefully escape. So I think don't look at it as you being weak. You are strong for facing it the way you did.
I don't think so. Still see it as foolish.
Daring, maybe. Foolish, probably. But we got to get past that right now. We have to figure out what you're supposed to be doing here. Obviously, this is what you have to face. Whatever that thing is, it terrified you. You have to figure out how to get past that terror. And who was that little guy? I've never seen anything like him.
There was another person here?
Short little guy. All gangly. Very, very pale. Definitely not Klingon. Definitely not Trill. He just went down that little hallway.
Wait. Did he talk like this? I'm gonna try. I like you, like that. I'm
Well,
bad with
yeah,
impressions.
kind of an odd sort of
It was
cadence. always, clearing his throat, swallowing a lot. Yeah, it's kind of
He
close.
talked like this, it was very kind of off-putting. Yes, that is how he sounded.
If it's, I know somebody of that race. If that guy, his name's Vopry.
Again, he just went through that little tunnel right over there.
I'm gonna mad dash over there as fast as I can, running into walls. and
Okay, well,
Yeah, you stand up and you bang your head against the ceiling of this little nook. There is just not much space. And as you're hunchback, you see, sure enough, what appears to be Vopry coming back to you. Oh, I see you are here. You, you were quiet when you first got here.
You're dead?
I am stuck.
What do you mean? What do you mean
Uh,
stuck? Did
I,
you die?
I am stuck in this cave with you. That thing out there, it is quite terrifying, quite difficult. I, I do not believe it can be overcome.
You're,
Your friends here, they seem to believe that they can do something about it.
what's your name?
The figure just waddles along as if nothing else were said. I wonder if, well, what do you seek to do? Would you mean to try and challenge that once again?
Hold on. Yeldum.
Yes.
Is it possible? Hear me out. That the human brain, being through a traumatic experience, could experience something
What is
like
a
hell
human?
or the after, or a trill. Sorry. That a trill going through a traumatic experience could be in itself repairing the brain from that traumatic experience by giving itself a scenario psychologically.
Well,
And
I
there,
mean, it is either that, or we're actually in hell. And, well, I doubt this is hell.
I was fully believing it was hell until Vopry didn't tell me his name. Because I know Vopry. If he didn't tell me his name, he would be in an anxious wreck.
Oh, your your doubt gives me anxiety. It just shrinks.
See, he does that.
He's doing that now.
Yeah, no, he would have told me his name. Just me asking him to do something and him not doing it would give him anxiety. He's that much of a nice person.
That's okay.
What?
That is neurotic, but okay.
Which means that this is that Vopry is a figment of my of our imagination.
I've never imagined anything like that.
Well, of course you haven't, but you're not you anymore, and it's something I need to come to terms with. The reason why you can see that figment of my imagination is because it's not my imagination, it's our imagination.
Well, that would be a lot easier to believe if you actually talked to us. We don't know each other very well because you haven't talked to us. You've left us alone.
We're all just fragments.
And you're building more because you're trying to help my brain repair itself.
So let's
Well-
run with this then.
Honestly, if we're figments of his imagination right now, it doesn't change a damn thing.
No, you guys are you. Because while my brain repairs itself, you're repairing it also. So while I'm unconscious, you can transfer everything from the symbiote into my brain without me trying to block it and repress it out. If that makes any sense, I hope.
It makes perfect sense. We are soup. Different ingredients, adding different flavors, culminating in soup.
Lindell looks
This
at. Lindell gives it's the Falcon and the Winter Soldier meme. Well, she's out of line, but she's not wrong. Though honestly, our mix isn't quite there. We're not. We want to aim, I guess, for puree, but we're more somewhere between soup and tossed salad.
do not get stuck on details. We are soup for now, okay?
Well, yes. Let's. Very good, Bellinor. Soup. Yes. So let's think. How are we serving this soup? Who is our intended customer, and well, how do we go about dressing up the plate? What is the
Okay,
most
let's go back
vibrant?
to talking like normal people. We are no longer soup. You have ruined this.
No. We're chefs. It makes perfect sense when you talk it that way.
Traven and Bellinar just now have chef's hats that have materialized over their heads, and they like clasp overly muscular arms. Uh,
You
yes,
son of a bitch!
pushing too many pots and pans. Anyway, enough of the Predator references. So then, how do we serve up this? You know, I do like to continue the metaphor, but I don't like to think of myself as food when we literally have that monstrous thing out there that probably could and would try to eat us. Oh God, did it try to eat you?
It did. But I'm going to put that fact behind me.
Are you now?
Yes. Talking with you, Yeldum, it lets me think. It helps me more. It's as if I'm just talking back to myself.
Well, technically you are. Whether this is real or all in your head, which doesn't necessarily make it not real, we're all part of you. So talking with us, still talking to yourself.
Exactly.
And it still doesn't matter. If you die, we all die.
Keep saying that. Make me angry. Just
If
as
you
much
die,
anger.
dude, should I slap you? Would that help?
Just do whatever
If
you
you
can to
die,
make me angry.
we all die.
Is Vopri still near us? Like, I can't really see.
Oh,
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
Yes.
Vopri, or whatever you are. You mentioned it was attracted to fear. Is it only attracted to fear?
I do not know. I have never tried to approach it, and I do not know what it would do. Well, I presume it would attack. The danger is very real. I know not of the dreams or figments or anything like that, but I am prepared to offer an alternative.
If it's living here with you, no offense, but it's a little too cramped.
Mm, I, I do not blame the sensibility, and there is not much space here, nor much to offer. But I would do that if you wished. you could always um, remain with me. Maybe some stay behind, maybe some go. I don't know. That is your decision to make. But you would be safe here, and nothing terrible would happen to you. No creature could reach you if you wish to take the offer. Then to you, Traven. He hands. You notice that he has some of the mushrooms that he was grabbing out, and he offers the first one to you. I know it does not sound ideal, but over time it is not too bad.
I eat the mushroom. Thank you. Is it good?
Ugh.
Uh,
I
It's
don't
all.
think any of us should stay, and we need to get out of here. We need to get Traven out of here. We have to face whatever that thing is out there.
Oh, I'm gonna face
Uh,
it. I'm just hungry.
Yep. Let's see. So your decision is to go out and face it, and not to take Vilpry's offer.
Of what? Staying? What?
Yeah,
half of us
staying with
staying
him.
behind?
Staying with him forever as his friend? No, I'm not friends with Oprah.
Friendship ended with Vilpry. The question, however, was yours, Traven. Are you opting to, well, as you take the bite of the mushroom, are you rejecting his offer to stay with him?
Yes.
The moment you place it in your mouth, the sheer bitterness overwhelms your palate, and it is utterly repulsive. You spit it out quickly.
Ugh. Is this what the Gawk Pockets tasted like?
What's a gawk pocket? Is that an
I don't
original
know, but it's.
dish?
I don't know, but it sounds
Sir,
horrible.
you'd be very disappointed in me.
I am very disappointed in you, Traven. You could have remained behind, and you could have lived a life of safety and peace. But you choose to defy and to head out. You believe you can challenge that thing there?
What can I say? I'm a Lex symbiote.
Then go out and face it yourself. Raising his slender arms, this creature you know as Vopry begins to bring them in together, and as he does, the huddled rock wall around you begins to slowly grind together and compress. If you fail to leave soon, you will be trapped amongst it forever.
Everybody out!
And in a perfect oh, why can't I remember the actor's name now?
Give me some things he's been in.
Star Trek. Multiple times. He's been
Jeffrey
in every
Combs?
Lovecraft movie there has
Jeffrey
ever been.
Combs? Jeffrey
Jeffrey
Combs?
Combs?
Yeah, Jeffrey Combs. Just a little. Oh well, time to leave. Just that lovely little clap of the hands. Time to go.
Yep. Romaldo will help out Lindell, and he will actually wait behind to steadily to give you, Frem, and Felinar an additional hand in order to do that as the door closes in. It's like, I warned you. The danger is real. Before the rocks completely close around this decidedly not Vopry, a no-pry, if you will.
Hey.
I can't say I took credit. I can't take credit for that being an original idea. I will readily admit to that now. But it was fun.
I like that you did that.
Lindell, can you hand me that mace?
Oh, sure thing, dear boy. Oh, may I ask, what exactly is the strategy now that we're out and we are having to face that?
I'm gonna walk up to it and hit it. Really, really hard.
Okay,
Oh,
Traven,
dear.
charge in. Give me a daring and security roll. Traven?
There it goes.
Nope, there it is.
I was searching for it.
Okay. You run in and crossing over the rocky way, um, passing each stalagmite. You race forward until the hull gives way to deck plate, or rather, the cavern gives way to deck plating. Um, and sure enough, the you find the beast before you. Describe to me, uh, how would you like when you make your swing? How do you aim to do so?
He's about 7 foot tall, right?
Yep.
5'8". I'm hitting him square in the chest, over the head.
All right. So you take your swing, and your blow manages to land firm. I don't think that it is enough to actually send this seeming beast heaving back. But it is not enough to immediately provoke an attack.
It just sits there and takes it.
Uh, I did not have Calico roll there, and I did send something back there.
Ah, gotcha.
And actually, I'll give you a moment to think about that. But there is a scene that interjects as we do this. Really, as that mace clatters against the creature's chest, you are taken for a moment, Traven, by a rush of air that sends you into a cool forest on perhaps a late autumn or early winter's day. Although there's some foliage still around, much of the earth around you has been uprooted, and you see not too far in the distance there are a handful of trill that appear to be in appropriate combat regalia of the era. At least one of them appears to be Tabo. And also, this may not be visible, so let me make sure that everybody can actually see this. Set that to reveal. There we go. Tabo, as you're standing off duty, or well, rather on duty at the moment, or just on a general watch. There are a handful of others that filter around you. Been a pretty quiet moment in the war, such that you may have had a chance to reach for your leather-bound book and to be able to jot down a few thoughts and meditations on the moment. Um, in this one just brief moment of awareness of what's going on, you realize that you no longer find yourself in the coffin, but back out in the open air. There are no signs of the other hosts anywhere around, as far as you can tell.
Oh. Never thought I would miss the fresh air from here. Ugh. Interesting.
Um, A young Trill woman, rifle slung over her back, is walking by. It's like, well, get used to it, because I don't think they're going to rotate us out of here for another few months. I heard the way that Third Division got pasted the other day. They're probably going to restrict any moves in this sector for a little while. So, and I'm hoping that we'll get some sort of reinforcement here soon. But, well, yeah, do what you can.
You know how it is with the holes. They take forever for anything to move.
Yeah. Well, at least nothing moves out here. It's actually a quiet moment. Well, I think I might go see if they've broken out the rations yet. Want me to grab you anything?
Yeah, give me. See if they have apples. Some fruit sauce.
I'll see what I
You
can
know,
do. See what I can do, she says, strolling back down the other way. But, no guarantees that that stuff could have been in a truck that got hit, and then that's about where, like, her words cut off as the mortars begin to come in, and all the world around you is just a cacophonous mess of sound and fury, of splintered wood and uprooted earth. Uh, the sight around you obscured by smoke and by dirt kicked up. And in the moment that it takes you to regain command of your situation, you hear the repeated cry from many people around, "Medic!"
no, fuck. Coming.
Yep. You, on your first run, you look back. Unfortunately, the soldier you were speaking to a moment ago, perhaps mercifully, she was. There's nothing left to recover there. It seems, as she was hit a little more squarely, enough to where her death was quick, but at least hopefully painless. Or she certainly wasn't around long enough to react. Uh, Rounding your way through the trenches, the first person you find appears to be a younger soldier, probably one of the fresh privates that had been shipped out as a recent replacement. Uh, he's clutching at his gut, trying to keep the blood from pouring out of a wound. Oh, Doc, can you help me?
All right. Triage, basic triage.
Yep. So I'll ask I will ask for one medical roll. We'll call this daring in medicine difficulty 1. This sort of wound is something that you see pretty commonly. Seems to be a fair, simple matter of shrapnel. And at 3 successes, you stabilize him in quick fashion, or at least get him tied up, get him some sort of pain med equivalent. I'll say for your purposes, you also have the momentum at this now. Um, as far as further down the line, finding your next person, you see somebody who is trying to give fire over the trench line with a fair-sized automatic weapon of a sort. Uh, they will glance to you and say, Doc, can you check my leg?
I take a look at his leg real quick.
Yep. Considerable blood is coming out from the wound, and you're pretty certain that there's some exposed bone that breaches from the surface. Uh, it's definitely a nastier fragmenting wound, but it's the sort that, well, It won't immediately be fatal so long as you tie off the wound real quick. Essentially, like this is quick work with like a tourniquet and uh, maybe again something for the pain. Not too strong though in this case.
Tourniquet, quick bandage, morphine, pull, Joe.
Yep. I'll allow with these successes you had to just basically give you the chance to proceed. Um, Up and down the line, you'll find a handful of soldiers, some who just need a quick check and tell you they're okay, others who don't quite are in need of a little bit more. You're not sure how long you're running through when you think
And
you've
some
tended.
who have just been reduced to handfuls.
Very true.
Sorry.
But you realize in trying to follow the last call that it's not coming from anywhere within the trench. Uh, a quick peer over, and you realize that some poor soul was close enough to an explosion to have been knocked by the blast wave and were even uprooted somehow, sent out just above the grounds. Somehow, mercifully, the artillery hadn't like completely liquefied their insides from the distance of the burst, but they are out and exposed, and they are clearly badly wounded.
I see. Do I have perchance a smoke grenade?
Last of those got used up 3 days ago.
Damn.
Yep.
Well, shit. We saying how many meters away is he?
I'd put him at, I'd say about 10 to 12 meters away. You could conceivably make it over there without too much issue with at a crouch, but the terrain is uneven and both you and they are loaded down with equipment.
Uneven. That's good. That means I could crawl.
All right. Do you elect to do that?
Yeah.
All right. Tabo, you you round your way over using every little bit of incline, every protrusion from the ground, every built-up bit, every crater that was formed by a missed shot, to give you as much advantage as you can, steadily crawling over on your way to this unfortunate soul. Uh, the blood is quickly welling up for them as they are clutching at least one wound near their core, but there are dozens of others about them. Look, oh, don't know if it was such a good idea coming out here.
Yeah. Well, medic's oath and whatnot. If you didn't want me out here, you could have just, died. But here you are.
Yeah, I won't turn it down.
Yep.
Okay, give me it's going to be, to start with, an insight and medicine difficulty of 2, and I'm spending threat this time to increase your complication range.
I see. Increased complication rate.
Rather, I have to spend 3 threat for that.
So what
Like
is
you
it?
don't have it to spare.
Wait, is it complication in range 3?
Yes.
All right. See how this goes. Is it daring or control? Medicine.
This would actually be insight here, as you're getting a full sense of the wounds.
All right.
Triage under
Standing
fire, if you will.
I'm just getting insight on his wounds. All right.
All right. All right, that's 3 successes. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to deal out some momentum to you here. Um, specifically for your use here. Actually, wait, no, I think I'd said 2. Oh well, I've given you an extra point of momentum. Do with it as you may. Um, they are pretty severe, and it is not safe to move this person. You can stabilize them, however, but it is going to take like a fair bit of effort, and it's going to be much more difficult to do it in a timely basis. Um, just eyeing where we are, I'm going to say that you may attempt this at a one-time task with a daring in medicine to stabilize them, but the difficulty of this is going up to 4.
All right.
As
Well, I
you,
will.
I will also say as you do this, says, everyone, start pouring in the fire. They're coming. A voice cries out from the trench line.
I see. I see. I see.
So,
Well, I'll use one of my funny momentums to get an extra die. And then with first response, and it's I don't know if that applies here actually. No.
you are attempting a first aid task.
So yeah, I will. So I will respond. All right.
It's just much more difficult than usual because you are under heavy fire, bullets whizzing over your head.
200 hours of Verdun. Do not fail me now.
Oh, nicely done. At 6 points of success, you you snip away at through the cloth and ply out your surgical kit as best you can, contorting to angles that are not particularly comfortable but allow you to get in at just sufficient distance to examine each wound and manage to get into place. You steadily do everything you can to patch this person up to just hopefully be able to get them moved. You race against the clock and against the very forces of death itself, which are not only threatening to drain away the life from this young Trill, but that persistently come for you as well, with every shot, every bit of lead flying through the tree line, grazing the branches and the dirt around you. The fury of their weapon, of your own side's weapons, joining in kind to try and keep this enemy suppressed, to hold them back with the with a stiff pulling and emplacement of bandages, with what little you can do in terms of field medicine. You manage to you have him just about into a safe state to be able to move. You realize that there's a wound you can't get to quite as easily. Requires you to get around in a position that will force you at least into a crouch in order to sufficiently apply what you need in order to save this person's life.
Yeah, danger be damned. Let's do it.
It is that same sort of attitude to confrontation that you have always met, uh, and that with every struggle that Tabo Lex had confronted. And sure enough, in that time, you're able to get up and stitch together the last bit of wound, get the remaining bit of bandaging in place and tie it off. And as you start to reach in order to drag them down, that is when you feel the first round tear through your side. Then a second, a third through your leg. Still you drag, and still you pull this unfortunate soul back to the line, only to collapse down. Your duty performed. With that that clatter to the ground somehow manages to ring out as you crash, as much as that clatter of the mace against this beast's armor on the chest seems to have done. And Traven, you stand before this monster.
And the beast slowly leans down to Traven. His snout just hovering right over where you remember getting bit last time. It's a nice long smell. You pass. Get out.
What about Tabo?
Get him out yourself.
I leave.
And so you turn and walk away from this beast, this Avatar of Cowardice, or perhaps part of the Avatar. Perhaps part was not simply the beast itself, but that which sought to lure you to stay and hide. Whatever the case, you and the other Lexes have completed your first trial as a success. And that is where we will leave off with part 2 of the life and death of Traven Lex. So
Wouldn't it technically be the lives and deaths? The lives and deaths. Well, no, it's just Traven. Sorry.
Don't get greedy.
I'm not. I'm gonna shut up now because I'm interrupting.
yeah. And with that, that also means the GM has the opportunity to finish off the recording. Also, thank you. I was sure to hydrate, although that was a more recent thing. I had better take a quick sip. Too much of a sip. Now I've gotten some of that on my shirt. Oh dear.
Do you have a drinking problem?
The problem is that some of my lemonade has gotten onto my shirt.
That's a problem. That's a drinking problem. If you've seen Airplane.
That is a picked a wrong day to stop sniffing glue.
Me too.
Apparently, I haven't stopped because I'm building more plastic models.
Well,
Oh my god.
I need to catch up on my pile of shame.
Yeah. Well, you folks will get to see more of how these next trials go as we continue with Star Trek Adventures Broken Sword. So for all of those in the archive tonight, I'm very glad you came to join us, and I hope you all have a good rest of your day. Take care now.